Is this the first time you participated in the march?
Yes, it is.
And I can only imagine the difficulty that you must be experiencing right now.
This is a tough place and a tough time.
And where were you born?
Krakow, about 80 miles more or less from here, about an hour and a half, yes.
And what year were you born?
1935.
A few days ago, we toured the Jewish ghetto in Krakow.
Yes, we did.
And you were taken to that ghetto?
No, we left Krakow just before the Nazis came in. We went to Lvov. I wound up in the Lvov ghetto in 1941. And then we left. We tried to hide on the Christian side. I was caught twice. I wound up in the orphanage, not the Korczak orphanage, but an orphanage in the Warsaw ghetto in 1942. I was snuck out of that by a Christian, and subsequently for 2 years we were in the Dropac, the highest building, tallest building in Poland, hidden in a closet for 2 years, my mother and I.
That is unbelievable. And
then we were flushed out of there in not the ghetto uprising, but the Warsaw insurrection by September of '44. Wound up in a basement. My brother was born there, and we were taking a hospital train, we thought to Germany, and we wound up right back here in Krakow. That's where the train stopped. And we were liberated here in 45.
So you managed to skip out on the concentration camps?
Oh no, my life in concentration camp would have probably been a 2-hour existence, because I would have been one that was in the group of children and elderly and women that went straight to a gas chamber. I had no chance. I was in Treblinka. I was in the Umschlagplatz, the railroad station for which the trains went to Treblinka, but I was fortunate to have missed the last train before that 5-day gap where they were cleaning up the bodies in Treblinka. And during that 5 days, I was taken to the orphanage in the Warsaw ghetto. And as I mentioned before, from there I was snuck out by a Christian and returned to my parents.
And where did you and your parents go after the war?
We tried to stay here. We thought that the Russians were good folks, the Soviets, and of course they were our heroes, they were our liberators. And to make a long story short, a year later, my dad was taken to Siberia, and my mother sent my 2-year-old brother on my back and me walking to Palestine before Israel. We got as far as southern Austria, and my brother got sick. Meanwhile, my dad broke out of prison, and we were reunited in midsummer of 46. And then in bits and pieces, we wound up in the United States in January '47.
Unbelievable. And what's your purpose for coming on the march?
Well, primarily it is to teach the youngsters that I'm traveling with about what happened. And honestly, I also feel that we need to show our existence. We need to show that we're still here, and to defy the seeds of anti-Semitism that are germinating currently.
Are you feeling a significant rise in anti-Semitism?
Absolutely, yes.
And you were just a young child before the war broke out. Is there any way to make comparisons between what happened now and what happened then, or is there even a point?
No, there's very much of a point. Yes, I do compare the two. I think the biggest difference is that the governments now are not authorizing and sanctioning that these are individual acts of anti-Semitism. But I believe that every act of anti-Semitism needs to be fought, thwarted in every way we know how. And I see now the internet as our biggest threat, because it is the source of hate. And I have no idea how to deal with it. Hopefully there are younger people, more tech-oriented people that can do that. But I think that's what we have to address. I don't see any particular threat from the governments. but I certainly see a huge threat from the internet.
And the students that you were with on the tour, they were very receptive to your story and your messages?
I was so surprised. They are really my hope for the future. They are so much better than the children I have seen prior years. They're highly receptive, very well informed, and looking at them, if they're the sample of the next generation, we're in good shape.
I'm really happy to hear that. I feel that the march is one of the greatest initiatives for building Jewish identity of any around the world today.
And identity of good people, good human beings. I think that, yes, they're Jewish and they're fine.
Alan Hall, thank you so much for being with us, for telling your
One more
story.
addition. I'd like to just, for the record, say, yes, today my name is Alan Hall, but originally my name was Adam Janusz Horowitz.
Adam Janusz Horowitz.
Yes.
Your name's also Adam in Hebrew, so I feel a deep connection. Thank you so much for sharing your story. God
Thank
bless
you
you,
for
and may
having
you continue to have good health and spreading your story for many years to come.
I do not intend to quit. I'm going to keep on coming as long as I physically can.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
God bless you.